Hi there, this is Solitary Ronin from Solitary Ronin Films, and welcome to another In the Frame video. And this is just a silly, daft video, but today in the frame I'm going to show you 10 cool cats, 10 people that are effortlessly cool in cinema history. Again, coolness is something that's hard to define. You either have it or you don't. There's people who kind of desperately try to be cool but don't pull it off, and there's people that don't need to try at all, and that's the people that are on this list. Again, this list could be a lot larger. Again, this is an interactive channel, so give me your list of 10 people who are way too cool for school. And I'm just going to start with Nicholas Ray. There's Nicholas Ray there, looking really cool. Apologies for the glare. Rocking the eye patch, because one eye patch is cool, 2 eye patches not so cool. Nicholas Ray was always a bit of an outsider. He was always kind of fighting the system from within. If you take something like Bigger Than Life, with its tacked on because of the Hays Code happy ending, where the family is kind of clutching each other and grinning almost insanely. Obviously, Nicholas Ray kind of came up with James Dean. Did Rebel Without Cause. He was always on the edge. His films always feature cool characters, because coolness must be something that's contagious. Yeah, as you can see, this video isn't that well researched. This is me just talking nonsense, basically. Next, in the effortlessly cool people, is Lauren Bacall, who just exuded cool. Now, I realise that most of these people on this list were either smokers or are smokers. Is there a correlation between smoking and being cool? Who knows? Obviously, Lauren Bacall had a marriage with somebody else who might be on this list, but all her characters are very much in control, are in command. The way she moves, she's just always very cool without necessarily trying. Next is a modern day cool cat. That's Jim Jarmusch, who just exudes cool. His characters are generally cool. His films are cool. I don't know how many times I'm going to say cool in this video, but I might set the Guinness Book of Records record. Jarmusch is just so funny, and that dry sense of humour. If there's somebody whose films really epitomise the creator of those films, it's Jim Jarmusch films. He was a big friend of Nicholas Ray and Samuel Fuller, and he is a member of obviously it's a secret society, but it's not really a secret society because everybody knows about it. He's in a society of admirers of somebody else who will appear on this list that I'll mention later. Again, this list is in no order. Again, you could add another 10 names to it. I'd be interested to see your list. Yeah, but Jim Jarmusch is just... his hair's cool, his taste in music's cool, his sense of humour and his films are effortlessly cool without trying. Next is Christopher Walken. There he is, being cool. Christopher Walken is just such a fun guy. He loves cooking and dancing and musicals. He's cool mainly because his line reading is like so unique. I know people sometimes get freaked out about him. His hair is always cool. But when Christopher Walken dies, people will actually realise what a great actor he was. He doesn't get enough credit because he's always kind of seen as the weirdo or the heavy who pops up for 10 minutes. But he's just cool. Because people who work with him say he's like the nicest guy in the world. But obviously some of his characters are the coldest, scariest characters ever put on celluloid. Next is Alain Delon, who epitomises French and continental cool. Again, without trying. He's just effortlessly cool. I'm sure there's lots of actors who want to be as cool as Alain Delon, but never can be, or never will be. Obviously in Melville's Le Samurai, the whole film is cool, but Delon is really cool. He wears a chapeau like nobody else. He wears a raincoat like nobody else, not even Columbo. He's always smartly dressed. Le Plain Soleil, he's super cool in that blistering sun. Next, yes, it's somebody else who's smoking. Humphrey Bogart, who obviously the pairing of Humphrey Bogart and Lauren Bacall was almost too cool for the screen. Again, there seems to be lots of people holding cigarettes and smoking cigarettes in this list. Yeah, Humphrey Bogart, his characters were always cool. They knew the score, even when they get surprises. Epitome of classic Hollywood cool. And again, without really trying. His voice helped as well. Next is Lee Marvin, who not only was super cool, but he was authentic. He was honest. The secret or not so secret society that Jim Jarmusch is a member of is the Sons of Lee Marvin, who celebrate Lee Marvin. Lee Marvin fought in the Pacific in World War II. He was one of very few survivors of his platoon, and he always carried that guilt with him, and he always wanted for the films that he was in to show violence properly and as authentically as possible. He wasn't a fan of The Dirty Dozen because he just thought it was too cartoonish and just wasn't realistic enough. So you have to have respect for Lee Marvin and also obviously because he's super cool. Yeah, he's unbelievably cool in Point Blank, which is a film that's almost constructed on cool. And he was just so authentic. Next is to Shiro Mufin. You look how cool he looks in that, even when he's baffled. Yep, he's got one when he's smoking. Cigarettes, they're fantastic. They make you look cool, apparently. I think we've proved this. To Shiro Mufin, what can you say? Whether he's in a suit or whether he's walking about chopping people up in red beard and then saying, I may have gone too far. To Shiro Mufin is just... he's just cool. Again, this video is not about deep analysis of these people. This is just simply, they're cool. Next is Robert Mitchum, who again, just effortlessly cool. Yes, there's one of him with a cigarette. Again, Robert Mitchum, who never considered himself to be an actor. He always had this narrative of he just turns up and reads the lines and then goes home. But again, he always had an authenticity about him. He was obviously famously arrested for smoking dope or having dope on him. He was always kind of looked at as a bit of an outsider, a bit of a rebel. And he was just effortlessly cool. With the way he walked, with his barrel chest. Again, the way he smoked, he looked so cool. He was still cool in the 70s when he was a bit older. Yeah, just cool without trying. And finally, the last person on the list is Marlene Dietrich, who was just effortlessly cool. Even dressed... oh, yep, there's a cigarette. Oh, there's another cigarette. Even when she was dressed as an old gypsy in Touch of Evil, she got all the cool lines at the end of the film. I mean, Marlene Dietrich, you have to kind of remember, lived through Germany in the 30s when it was just, all that cabaret period, all the rampant sex and deviancy and alcohol and opium, and she lived through that, experienced that. Obviously, there's stories of how she would pretty much have sex with anybody, male, female. So she lived that. And then obviously when she came to Hollywood, she was just effortlessly cool. I recently watched A Foreign Affair, Billy Wilder's 1948 film, which has just come to Eureka Blu-ray. And while it's not among Wilder's best, it's a bit overlong, like all of the films like Avante and Fedora and 123 and Irma la Douce. They're still good films, but they're a wee bit too long. But once A Foreign Affair gets going, it's an absolute treat. And Marlene Dietrich is just absolutely fantastic as a woman who used to know quite a lot of high-up Nazis and is trying to survive in post-war Berlin. Again, it kind of starts as a lovely romantic comedy between the uptight congresswoman and this sergeant played by John Lund and Marlene Dietrich. But the second half of the film, as with all Wilder films, there's a lot of dark stuff underneath. And Marlene Dietrich is just absolutely fantastic and just effortlessly cool. And that's kind of what spurred me to make this daft video. Because Marlene Dietrich is just super cool. Way too cool for school. So thanks very much for watching this very silly video, and leave a list of 10 people that you think are effortlessly cool in the history of cinema, and hopefully you'll join me again for more In the Frame videos. This is Solitary Ronin from Solitary Ronin Films. Farewell.